Here's my beef. My beef is the idea of affluence. If you were truly affluent, you would not be afraid to say and speak your truth. If you truly had affluence, the affluence would be you, would literally be you speaking truth. But you see, the affluence that people have is normally based on lies. And when they reach to the echelons, these upper echelons of affluence, they realize, dang, I can't live truthfully. I can't live in truth. I have to live in lies. And then normally you only hear the truth of their life if you're in their circle. And sometimes even not even that. So that's my problem because, we're not going to break down the etymology of the word affluence, but it's not how we utilize it today, for sure. Hmm. Seems like I lied because we're back and I'm about to break down the etymology of affluence. So it really is just a prefix to the word fluence, adfluence. So the word is really fluence, and its Latin word is fluere, or basically talking about flow. Okay, you can hear it in the word, the flow, the fluidity, right? The idea that there's an abundance, so it's just flowing. So if you truly had an abundance of whatever it is that makes you affluent, why would you need to hide anything? You have an abundance. And it's your abundance, meaning no one can take it from you, right? Like, for instance, I have an abundance of wisdom and knowledge. No one can take it from me. I have abundance of it. I'm an affluent person with it. I'm not afraid to share it. I'm not afraid to speak it because, regardless of what I say, share, speak, it will not diminish the abundance of wisdom I have. Most it can be done is be sharpened by someone else's wisdom, right? Someone else who's just as wise or has even more abundance of wisdom can share theirs. And from that, iron sharpen iron, I'll become a smarter person. So there's truly no reason that an affluent person would hide information, hide anything. They would go with the flow. You understand? So the fact that we have an entire community of bourgeoisie, affluent people, but you know nothing about them. They say nothing about anything. They literally move like this. The more fluent you are, the less you speak. And the only times you do speak is when it's something to be programmed or something along the programming, because you're a part of the affluent class to be a part of the programming conversations. So I find that pretty interesting, pretty wild, because it's not true affluence. It's fear. And fear comes from lack, not abundance, not something that is affluent and showing flow. We are using language incorrectly. The entire English language is a bunch of spells. But if I didn't break down affluence like that to you, you would still be thinking that the rich of our society are truly affluent, and they're not. It's the black community that's the affluent ones. They start all the trends, they start everything: dance moves, music, craze, culture, terminology, new slang. The affluent class in Western society is the black, poverty, low stricken, abused, oppressed class. They've been leaving the church. Let's keep it a buck. Well, let's add some context to that because that sounds kind of nonsensical, right? That sounds kind of nonsensical to just straight up say, yo, the affluent class of Western society is black people, the oppressed class. Um, because at the same time, that's a misnomer. We're melanated. Not all melanated people are black, because black is not a race is not even a real thing. Okay, race is a social construct. So if I denote myself as a race, I am stepping into the construct, which is fair. I have no problem with that. But if I'm saying black, that's like a triple, quadruple, entendre for you rap heads out there. So yes, it's a color. Yes, it's a race, but it's also a political insignia, I guess that's the good word for it, or symbol to represent having no meaning, to have no rights, to be devoid of responsibility for self, meaning that the government becomes responsible for you. Now, that's an argued term. We don't, I'm not gonna substantiate that term there, but I'm saying there's folks who utilize black in that way. Black has a lot of different meanings. Blacklisted is a similar idea that you are no longer a responsible party within this industry. So we are blacklisting you, so we don't participate with you and whatever your irresponsibilities are. All that to say, if you're a melanated person, you connect to the sun. Okay, that's the whole point. You're a melanated person. You connect to the sun. The sun is not hot as in it's hot gonna touch and burn you. It's hot as in it sends out vibration. It literally sends out radiation. It makes everything vibrate. Like a microwave sends out waves and makes your food molecules vibrate, the water molecules vibrate until they heat up. That's exactly what the sun is doing to us. And for some reason, our melanin is able to synthesize that and give us an experience that is different from those who aren't melanated. From that physical or physiological scientific difference, you get the variety of life. Okay? You get niggas like me, right? Dudes darker, lighter, and all the constructs that come with it. Now, how could we get to a place where the constructs of being and looking a certain way has you being treated a certain way? Well, it only makes sense that it's a tribal conversation because you see tribes that look the same treat each other horribly. So, what more than when you would have a tribe that doesn't look the same? Okay? So, that's all this has become. That's all this is. It's an evolution of tribal warfare. And because we're so dumb and caught up in it, we're not seeing it like that. We're not seeing that, okay, if we take away our own biases and just look at this as humans versus humans, then we can see this trend all over the place. We could see the trend of affluence within the black community, right? We could see the issues of affluence in other communities and how it's similarly those without access to the propagated things of value. None of us were alive originally when things of value just were crop fields and wheat and corn, and none of us were alive here to understand that context. But since we've been alive, all the things of true value that we're fighting over, killing over, stealing over, are consumerism products. It's all scam products. It's all things that are promoted to us that don't keep us alive. Everything that keeps you alive is the shelter and food. And you could grow food, and shelter is naturally found all over the place. So the idea of consumerism been a scam. Once you own land, it was on you to survive. There was nothing about having some economy or being a part of an economy to survive. Survival was a natural thing of the individual. And we disconnected that and made it a thing of the system so that now we have an affluent class that can't even do the basics because I said already, when you're melanated, you have some way of speaking and connecting with the sun in a different way than other people who aren't as melanated. Yet, when we look at the stats, it's not people who are melanated with all the affluence. So, the natural affluence of Earth would be the sun. The sun is the abundance, right? That makes the plants grow, makes food grow, everything, right? That is the natural affluence of Earth. That would be the algorithm, right? So you have an algorithm on your phone. Like if I behave this way, things happen great. If I don't behave that way, things don't happen. They go negative, positive, negative, and it treats you, and you get to learn the algorithm. There's a natural algorithm in life, and it's it's the dogma of the sun, right? So we go outside during the daytime, we go inside at night, right? Those are the natural algorithms. So another natural algorithm would be the individuals who communicate the best with the sun should have the most affluence. So when you see me say that the black community is the most affluent, and then I also said the oppressed, I wasn't saying that the fact that they're oppressed, that is what makes them affluent. And that's why I had to put this video here, because I know some people will gloss over that and think to situations where, yes, being oppressed, being downtrodden, um, being restricted sometimes creates a discipline that can be applied in the ethos that makes you look way more affluent than if you had not gone through that restriction. Fair enough. We restrict ourselves all the time to create discipline, but that's not necessary to be that great affluence that I'm speaking to. I'm not like, you don't even need to be in the hood. You don't need to be in nowhere near called poor, nothing, to become that affluent black person. You just need not to be caught up in the bourgeoisie bullshit. 'Cause I promise you, you're not fulfilling your affluent nature when you're so caught up on the Joneses and keeping up with the Joneses and competing with the Joneses. And that's exactly what the bourgeoisie black community, melanated community, is busy doing, which conflates this entire conversation and makes it difficult to see the facts that I'm stating. Because you probably know a very intelligent, rich black person who ain't shit. And then you're like, well, what's the point of them communicating with the sun if they're behaving worse than the white guy who can't communicate with the sun? So it kind of puts my whole theory on his ass, right? And it makes the conscious dudes who's trying to speak woke content make them only be right twice a day. They sound like broken clocks. So I'm not trying to come here on that angle. I'm speaking directly to the linguistics of the word and how we're using the word and how that word, um, uh, the semantics of it through our colloquial use creates a culture of how we treat people and how we think affluence should be seen in real time. What affluence feels like, looks like, behaves like in real time, versus understanding affluence. Don't give a goddamn because we abundant. We have it. Like, you can't touch it. You can't stop this. I could just come here freestyle off the dome, because even if I make a mistake and I say the wrong word or I didn't, whatever, the general idea of what I'm saying is facts. If I come back next week or I come back tomorrow, make a part 3, part 4 of the video, it will only be to build upon what I said before. I'll easily correct my mistakes, and you'll understand and keep rocking with me, because there's an abundance of the knowledge. You know what I mean? I'm not not pilfering it from nowhere. I'm not teething it. I'm not, you know what I mean? I don't even know where the source is. Please explain me where my thoughts is coming from. Please explain where your thoughts come from. Please explain why you had the thought you just had when you heard the words you just heard from me. Why I just said the words I just said. We don't know. The source is an unattainable theory. You wake up every day between these two eyes. You've heard me say that how many times? So, anyways, before I go down that diatribe, I'm gonna leave it. Blessings to you guys. Enjoy your week.